tuning in to the online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing after shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hey guys, welcome into the season 11 premiere of Keeping Up With the Kardashians after show right here on AfterBuzz TV. Oh man, that's going to be a great start to the season. I'm Bobby DeMuro. That's Sterling Cates. Next to her, Nicholas Grava. Francesca is out tonight. She'll be back next week. We're talking That Was Then, This Is Now. Not much else to say. Y'all know the drill. If you're here now, you've been with us for a while probably. We've been doing the same thing every season. Back for another. We talked to y'all a couple weeks ago at the end of season 10 and that weird whatever finish they had. So let's do season 11. Jump right in. Thoughts on the episode, thoughts on the season, on the rebrand, the logo and stuff.
I love the rebrand.
I like it.
Yeah, and the new intro.
Yeah,
it's
new
very
promo.
sleek.
Yeah,
it's grown up. Everything's like sexy. Not that they weren't, but the intro was not sexy. It was like kiddish.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Yeah.
Even the
now I look at
font
this and I'm like, cheesy, huh?
Good rebrand. The trailers were really good for that, so that's cool. And then we pick up right where we left off, more or less, at the end of season 10. And we got Scott issues. We got Caitlyn at the ESPYs tonight. Where would you guys like to start?
I don't know. I have to say this, and maybe it was just me. Did it feel maybe I'm keeping up a little too much? It felt a little stale to me, like the topics we were
old,
covering
yeah.
and stuff. The ESPYs, we saw that on Caitlyn's spinoff, and what else happened tonight? I forget. Other than the ESPYs. Yeah, so I don't know.
But they're in this weird. Like, every couple of years, technology advances and there's more stuff out there and people change and stuff. What is so funny?
It's just really interesting to watch.
Thank you. I just want to see them. I guess I want to see them do something or have something happen, and not like a serious thing, not a tragedy, but have something happen that we don't know about. Even if it's relatively small. I want to watch something on the show that we haven't seen on Instagram and every entertainment website in the world.
Right. Yeah, makes
But
sense.
that's just me.
I feel like that would be really great. I wonder how possible that really is. You know, I know they probably have their crew under confidentiality agreement, but besides with press and things like that, I really wonder if that would be possible.
I think it's not possible.
No.
To tell you the truth. Because the other thing is they're so good at self-promotion. Mm-hmm. Missed.
Right.
They're so good at self-promotion
Shocking.
that this is what they do. Like, they have to get stuff out there at the time. Did the scene where Kourtney was watering the plant, whose Instagram did that come on? Like, do we remember that from July?
I don't remember that, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure
I
we can
think
go
it
back
was
and look
on
and
her
find it.
Instagram.
But it was on somebody's. That's
Yeah.
the thing. So it's like, you know, I don't know. And it's not a bad thing. Like, it's cool to see it from this perspective because it's different than social media. So it's not like, a tragedy.
Right.
But it's just a little repetitive. And I'm looking there at like the 45-minute mark. Every episode, even season 10, I'm like, let's get on with it.
Yeah. I did like seeing the behind-the-scenes stuff of Khloe's complex shoot.
Yes.
I thought that was interesting for the most part, especially that conversation between her and Kim out on the balcony when she's talking about doing it. I liked like those sorts of things because we obviously saw the shoot, we saw the cover. She thanked Kim in like her Instagram post for pushing her to do it, but that behind the scenes stuff I like.
And that cover was a shock when it came out.
Yeah.
That was, that was one of the bigger things they did all summer that was not on the Scott Disick scandal side.
Right.
This is one of the more positive
Well, and you
ones.
always think like, even Khloe posted that side by side of a retouched and a non-retouched picture because people were saying stuff about that. But when you're watching in the show, you know it's not retouched because it's obviously the video footage of it. So,
And I thought they did a good job. She looks like, maybe we're so warped because of Hollywood and entertainment and television, but I'm watching her on the photo shoot and I'm like, she looks accessible, like normal. Like, she doesn't weigh 78 pounds. She wasn't blessed with that body type that Kendall has, that's classic model type. I'm looking at her in the behind the scenes shoots and I'm like, she looks normal.
And she looks great
and when
to
you get
me,
next to her,
yeah.
and when you get next to her in person, she looks rail thin. She looks totally different than she does on TV. But you look at her on television, you're like, she's normal. She has curves. She has like legs. It's like you look at this and it's like, hey, this is a real person who's way the hell done up and made up, and she looks great anyways. But she's not a wave. She doesn't weigh 80 pounds.
She looks fantastic.
Yeah,
she
she
really
really
does.
It came out awesome. Complex Shoot came out awesome when it came out or whatever in July. So I will say this about generally before we get like into specific topics, I am more and more impressed with Kendall like every week over the last months. She's grown up, she's mature, she's not like trying to leave the family, she's not disowning them, but she's not playing the same reality game that they're playing, and she has different opportunities so she can afford not to do that, but she's like measured and mature and well spoken.
I think she's the one that's really broke it, like used her platform of where she was at and then went off on her own. Not just like, yeah, they all have their own brands and things, but she quite literally has built her own career that really has nothing to do with Kardashian or, any of the reality. And I do applaud, and she's doing it more and more. I was at the beginning, I'm saying, is this just going to be a few time booked thing? Okay, she got a few shows, New York Fashion Week, but no, she's literally running with it and creating a career from it.
And does Momager Chris get her foot in the door? For sure.
Right.
And foot in the door is some people would say is like 90% of the deal. But whatever the other percentage is, 10 or more, I would argue it's more. The other percentage that she's now done for herself, Kris Jenner doesn't have the same kind of high fashion connections that Kendall needs to do. Kris Jenner couldn't just get her in the Victoria's Secret fashion show. That's that's Kendall building relationships, doing the work, proving she's dependable, being a commodity people want. Like Kendall's doing the damn work.
Yeah, and I mean, I definitely think her name though gets her a lot of those gigs and the visibility it has, and just these brands knowing that people are going to be watching what she's doing just because of who she is. So yes, she has done it by herself and branched off, but I think that her name obviously had a lot to do with where she
for
got.
sure. But I'm just saying that I don't think Kris Jenner's calling up name your designer at the top level and saying, hey, can Kendall model for you?
Well, I don't think she has to. I think
Yeah.
that she's being approached by them.
Did you guys see, it wasn't recent, that when she first started doing this stuff, there was an open letter from a model in New York Fashion Week just sort of stating, I understand she's saying that she doesn't use her name and this and that, but let me show you the reality of what it would take to really get to where she is. And it does demonstrate that, and that's going to be a factor whether she wants to use it or not.
Right.
You're right. Like, they know, fans and people, clickbait, they know that this works. So why wouldn't you use it?
It's not... different people have different levels of privilege or whatever you want to call the word, but it's not about having that privilege, and she's extremely privileged and comes from a very privileged background. It's about acknowledging what you have. That's why Caitlyn took so much heat during I Am Kate when she was like, why don't people just get off welfare and get jobs? It's like, wait a second, it's easy for you to say because you're extremely successful, you don't have the same life, but as long as Kendall acknowledges, hey, I am here because of my name or my initial connection, and I put in a lot of work and I totally deserve it and I earned it, but I know why I got here in the first place. If you acknowledge that, you've gone a long way. Don't start from the bottom. Your name is an asset. I would use your name. If that were my name, I would absolutely use it.
Right.
So use it, but at least acknowledge you have that. And I feel like she's not out there. I mean, we don't see, everything. But what we see, she's not out there crazy. She's not doing dumb stuff. She's not involved in scandals. She's really well-spoken and responsible on the show. She's become more mature and more measured, like every year in the little side interviews that they do. I'm really, really impressed with her growing up into who she is because it's different from the rest of the family.
I think her and Kylie, their arcs from season, like when I see a random flashback episode from season 1, it's actually insane how much they've changed.
Right. Well, they also, I feel like they were never really in the show that much back then. Like, they never really talked that much, and Kylie still really doesn't either speak up that much in the show. But
and the wild card is Rob the other way. Rob was more on the show, and he was older. You can't compare them with the girls. The girls were so young at the start. But Rob was on the show and in it, and then progressively out and out and out, and he's disappeared now, and that's a separate story. But that's like, people have changed so much, and obviously, not surprisingly, the ones who were younger when they started have changed a lot.
Right.
It's different than Kim starting when she was 23 or 24, however old. It's tough being. How old were Kendall and Kylie when this show started? Were they 12 and 10?
I think.
I think they were.
Was it 8 years ago? Because Kendall's 20.
Kendall just turned 20.
Yeah.
So were they like 12 and 10-ish?
Yeah, probably.
Something.
Wow. I mean, actually, speaking on Rob, though, we didn't see him on any upcoming at the end of the episode. And I thought, that now that he's more active on Instagram and we're seeing and hearing a little bit more, he doesn't seem like he's so, underground. I thought maybe he was, but I guess this is a point he's not coming.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. I don't think so.
I don't blame him. If he sees this as the train that took him to where he was, don't get back on it.
Yeah.
As much as it's around and it's relevant in your family, no.
There's going to be a comeback someday in some way. You're never going to not hear from him for the next 50 years. Like, there's going to be some
media
level...
won't allow that either.
Yeah, and there's going to be some level of comeback or whatever you want to call it. Just hope it's a good decision and hope it's a healthy decision.
Yeah.
If he does something cheesy or whatever, you do a TV movie, I don't care. Do what you want. But I hope it's...
You see Rob coming out with a TV movie? Is that what you see?
But no, but they were talking about him on The Biggest Loser. They were talking about him on all these different shows.
Oh,
and it's like, whatever the business decision is, do whatever you want, but make sure it's a healthy thing for you. That's
I don't think he should go on The Biggest.
No, I feel like Khloe even said, she's going on The Bachelor or whatever, like with this rumor. Their brand, I think, is far too big to ever cheapen themselves in a way to go to something else. Like, they bring in enough viewers alone. They don't need any of those.
I regret to agree with you. They don't need The Bachelor. They don't need The Biggest Loser.
They can make their own e-version of it.
Right, exactly.
Dating Khloe, and they get more things than ever. And I want copyright.
And you want to be on it. I'd like to be a contestant.
Oh, yeah, and also in there.
Didn't they say when they were at Wine, to get into the episode a little bit, when they were drinking wine with Corey, who, by the way, story in and of himself, didn't they say they had basketball players lined up for Kourtney? Wasn't that what they said?
He's been like fielding calls and like building a portfolio.
There you go.
They're contacting Corey for Kourtney. It's probably the last person that has any I
don't think of the family structure here, but I don't think him and Court are,
They're professional athletes. Nobody ever accused a pro athlete of being intelligent.
Well, Chloe's the one who said she had basketball players.
Nobody watches more sports than I do. I'm just saying.
Me.
Yeah, okay.
Nick loves sport.
Let's get to maybe Khloe watches more basketball than I do. Let's put it that way. Let's get to the stuff happening now.
Oh, you want to talk about the episode?
We can talk about it a little bit, I guess.
Okay, see if
now is in the episode now. See, that's another thing. It's like now real life is different from now in the episode.
Two different storylines.
The simplest thing I've ever said. But like the episodes are coming. We know so much that's gone on after this. We know the Scott thing. We know how it's gone since then.
The whole Lamar storyline we just had,
which is that's just a separate. We could do a separate hour on that. We're not gonna, but wow.
Mm-hmm. Chloe's book launch, like all these relevant things, which I'm sure we'll be seeing this season. It's happening now.
Right.
They have a knack, and it's obviously not intentional. You can't foresee the Lamar thing. You can't foresee Scott's. I mean, you could foresee Scott's decline, but not the moment it was going to happen. But they just have a knack for just when you think they're washing up, that something else happens. Whether it is their creation and it is stupid, but people watch on, or whether it's something serious like Lamar or something.
Right.
Something happens.
Just one thing after another.
It's unbelievable.
It's like the baggage quote.
Speaking of her book, I really want to read it, actually.
Yeah,
I've been meaning to.
She was on, I saw a clip that it airs tomorrow. She's on Ellen talking about her book, and I think it's already a New York Times bestseller.
Yeah, it is. It's like number 4.
She was just going through and how, basically, I don't really know everything that's inside the book, but I guess it has a lot to do with just working out and health and light and how that has saved her from like some depression and stuff like that. And we see that as a theme for this episode too, so that runs parallel. I thought it was funny. Was it the 4-episode thing that she was like, why is my mom have me promoting a book that isn't out yet and is not going to be out for like over a year? And she's at the book convention. Now it's here.
She also talks in the book about like struggling with being an alcoholic, like back like right after her dad died.
She had a DUI years ago too.
Yeah. Then she was like out partying and just hanging out with the wrong crowds, and I think it was Kourtney that like drug her out of it and made her go to therapy.
Interesting.
And that's like what she said like kept her from becoming this whole other thing, which is interesting that Kourtney was the one who motivated her to do that because she deals with that struggle pretty much every day with Scott. So it's, very interesting.
And it's an interesting dynamic for Khloe in general, knowing all that Khloe had a very interesting angle on Scott, and for that matter on Lamar, and different things at different degrees, and Rob, different things, different degrees and stuff, but the same very general angle.
Well, and we always talk about how she's kind of the person that specifically Rob, Lamar, and Scott always leaned on, but now knowing this background of her story, there's, you know, they relate on more levels than we thought.
Right. I feel like it's those people that, I mean, even I'm sure we all have people in our lives that they judge the lead. You know, they don't judge you as much when you go because they've gone through it. They've done it. Kim, on the other hand, maybe hasn't experienced it, and she always seems to be the cold one in all these situations. That's like, let's get Scott out of here. Even when Kourtney's going through all this stuff, she's like, I think this is a good step that Kourtney needs to go through. It's like, yes, in hindsight, we can all see that. But in the moment, you still have compassion for the person.
Yeah. Kim, they've all lived sheltered lives, obviously, but Kim has lived a sheltered life relative to somebody like Khloe, you know? And Kim, to her credit, is just like a machine with that stuff. She is, it seems like, is automatic, just next step, next step, next step. And Khloe has been a little more, you know, I'm real, this is really me. Khloe's the one who takes the hit for being the big sister, and it's like, well, she's not big at all. Yeah. But like, she takes hits for stuff like that she has to deal with, and she's talked about that. I don't know if that's in the book. I assume it is.
It is, yeah. Her being known as like the fat, ugly, funny sister,
which is she's tiny. She's tiny.
I've never seen her.
I mean, television.
I mean,
makes
she doesn't look big in television. I'm not like, oh my god.
Camera makes you look totally different than not.
Yeah. Well, and you gotta think. I mean, so she's 5'10", and then Kourtney and Kim are both like 5'2". So it's like next to them, it's like she obviously looks larger, but that's just because she's like a foot taller than them too. So it's just
and younger than them. So it changes their dynamic from the three of them.
Right.
Well, okay, let's talk about today.
Okay.
ESPYs saw the speech. Ooh, phenomenal speech. Yeah. Everybody saw it live or whatever. Saw the family there live. Saw the Instagram shots. Interesting to see Kendall and Kylie spat before the ESPYs, but that's what Kendall said. Sister stuff.
Right. So. I think for me, when I was watching it, I'm saying, you know, Kris isn't there. Like, it really, like, took some minute to, like, think about that. Like, is that rude of her not being there? Is it a statement? But in this side of things, when she's like, I've never met her, and I don't want to meet her under this, that really made me think, you know what? Oh, shit. Like, how many of this, you know, do I see different stuff in the media and judge it quickly when I don't know? And I'm like, that's totally reasonable for you not to want to meet her for the first time under these circumstances.
Well, and it would just seem like too much like a publicity thing
also
to go to this huge event and play nice for the cameras, but when you really haven't even spoken to this or seen this person in real life behind the cameras.
It's something big about the daughters too, that they took it upon themselves to do the ESPYs, do the event, and then go have dinner with mom in an empty restaurant at 10 p.m. or whatever it was. And it's like they're not out partying, they're not doing the ESPY thing that everybody's doing. They're like, no, let's go have dinner with mom. Like, very nice gesture for them to balance the two.
Right.
Now we come to find out apparently that Caitlyn and Kris might have been playing the girls off each other. At least Caitlyn was, it sounds like, which would be unfortunate.
I can't imagine either. I mean, it just seems so unfair for either of them to play that card in this situation.
I bet Caitlyn didn't realize what was happening. Like, she was probably, well, why aren't you? I can see it as her being upset because they didn't come to the after party. It's like her big night, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's like, oh, you have dinner tonight. Like, why tonight out of it? I can see both sides on that. Yeah.
Yeah. And Caitlyn has had, up to this point, 0 nights. You know, this is like Caitlyn's first night. I mean, Vanity Fair was different because it wasn't an event; it was a publication. Right. So this is like the first coming out party publicly in one way. This is like the night. So I guess I could see the hesitancy. It was just like, how now do Caitlyn and Kris balance the girls? You know, because the girls, they're old. I mean, they're not old, but they're old enough. They're adults. But Kendall and Kylie are still extremely formative. Right. Nobody's calling an 18-year-old like a ready-made adult. You're good to go. At least we weren't when we were 18.
I think that I can say that was it the flat? Yeah, it didn't actually happen when they're all at dinner and Caitlyn walks in and they're all. I think that's going to be really interesting to see that dynamic and to see. I'm interested to see, does it feel staged, fake? Like, okay, we need one scene of you guys, or does it feel like their new reality? And I think it'd be really cool if it was their new reality. It's very difficult for Kris. I cannot blame her.
Yeah,
but I think it would be really cool if that was. That I feel like would really help them feel free to make their own choices for Kylie and Kendall in that situation.
I don't know. I guess we'll see.
Yeah.
I guess, and we've talked about Caitlyn's personality and formerly Bruce's personality. Like, it's an abrasive personality in general, and it's not indicative of Caitlyn. It's just that person's personality and always has been. So it's like, how do Caitlyn and Kris interact with each other in general.
Those are two very strong personalities.
Extremely
well,
strong.
and you really can't. I mean, you can't expect them to be like best friends, and now they're going to be like the best of girlfriends or whatever, because you're never really like friends with your ex anyway. You know what I mean? Like that's not a thing. But when you have kids, you obviously do whatever you need to do for the kids. Like they just ran into each other on the red carpet for the Victoria's Secret fashion show, hugged it out, were laughing or whatever, like took pictures, and then they went their separate ways. So it's like
stars. They're just like
also
us.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I feel like they're just I don't know. It's so weird because this is a reality show. We are technically seeing their lives, but in a way it's like I crave to actually see their lives.
Right.
To actually see what's happening.
So here's my thing that I kind of wonder about. They've been doing this for so long, and they're so good at it.
Yeah.
And they're so good at not just the editing and stuff, but they know how to manipulate a scene to get what they need to edit it. That the reality show, I think, has crossed so far into their lives. The two are completely one and the same. They don't turn on a character, they don't turn on the cameras, and it's different. If you turn off the camera there, I would be surprised if they weren't exactly the same as they are. And in some ways that's really good, and in some ways that might be bad. But they're an interesting, like, sociological test case for life from now on. They've been on reality TV so long as a family
that they're like permanently polished all the time.
You faked yourself into this world of reality, into this existence, and there are some things about it that are good. You always look good. You're always speaking on point. You know, that's all great. But there are also some things that are probably really bad about that. So,
oh my God, yeah. Psychologically.
Yeah, I think I wonder about the kids and like how do you raise quote unquote normal kids? And what is every kid's like screwed up? Like nobody's normal. But like how do you raise a normal kid in that environment? You know?
I think thus far we saw the kids in this episode a little bit. I do think it's so early, but still I'm happy that they have sort of like not given them storylines.
Yeah.
They've had him in a quick scene, this and that, but clearly it's like, cameras up, cameras over here, not necessarily. I would be very disappointed if the kids would start to have storylines.
Yeah, and it's not surrounded around them either. It's just like if they happen to be in the room when they're having a conversation, that's fine. But it's not like about Mason. It's not about Noah.
Wasn't surrounded around Kendall and Kylie.
Well, I was
going to
say, when did we start getting like a Kendall or Kylie storyline? Was it always since the beginning, or no? Once they
not too significantly. I mean, I went back and watched a bunch of season 1. I can't remember why. Like,
yeah, what do you have going on in your life that you would go?
Nothing. I have nothing going on in my life. But I went back and watched a ton of season 1, and their storylines are very like small and frivolous because they're 10. You know,
they
don't
have much.
Yeah, there's nothing there. But they definitely didn't focus on them. Anyways, the stars were always the K girls, Khloe, Chris.
Season 1
Khloe,
promo
Kim,
picture, Kim is in the front. I didn't even really realize that or think back to like it was Kim.
Yeah, and they're all jostling her to like, it's the Kim show. It's always been, and only now people are branching out.
Yeah,
and like Kylie kind of takes the crown, and Khloe takes the crown, and I think Kim gets tired of it eventually, but I don't know. Just the effect this family has being on camera everywhere all the time. And it's not just the cameras from other people, but they always have their own camera on them. So, like, it's that selfie generation idea. Like, you're always putting, quote unquote, your best foot forward. Well, come on. Like, none of us have best foots. Like, what are you talking about? Like, we wouldn't show anybody the way we all lived in private. Like, that's embarrassing.
Nick and I just took like a million different Snapchats and we couldn't even get one that we liked.
I'm still trying to keep my brand up of, perfection. So.
I think that was a separate issue.
Khloe said tonight, quote, selfie's the best part of life when she was taking a selfie with the giraffe. So
it is the best part.
Relatable.
Speaking of selfies, Kim is she's releasing her Christmas edition of the selfie book.
Oh, aren't we on the edge of our seats?
I cannot wait.
It's a great book. Do you want it, by the way? Do you want to read it?
Sure.
Okay.
Read it. Look at it.
It's got some.
Peruse the pictures.
I would like to count.
Is there any words in there?
Well, let me put it this way. I would have to count if there are more words or more nipples.
Oh, okay.
Really?
Well, why don't you
Ariel
do that
is everywhere.
She's got it all. Yeah. I'll bring it. I'll give it to you tomorrow.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. It's
nice
legit.
table.
Yeah.
What do you call that?
Table book?
Yeah.
Coffee table book.
Coffee table book.
It's high quality.
Wow, I
Ariel.
can't wait. Thanks, Bobby. That's such a nice gift.
It was a birthday.
Am I borrowing it?
Literally,
Yeah,
somebody
I
gave
can't
me
tell
for
if
my
he's giving
birthday.
or borrowing.
Yeah,
It's just
no,
more of a borrow.
No, this is
It's
a
a
borrow.
borrow.
This
Okay.
is a borrow.
Okay.
This is an asset. This is like one of the 6 things that I.
You know what? Hold out till Christmas. I will gift you
Same.
one because I'm just that nice.
That's really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God. Okay, so Kourtney and Scott We know what's up. We see it. A piece of Scott news that just came out today. He is the new spokesman for Dollar Beard Club.
Oh my god, and I subscribed to them.
What is Dollar Beard Club?
Dollar Shave Club?
Well, Dollar Beard Club, I don't know if it's a sister company, but the beard, it's like beard oils.
Oh,
and
no, I don't
waxes.
subscribe to them, clearly.
Wow.
I subscribe to Dollar Shave Club,
It might
which
be
you should
like
get.
a-
I'm not plugging them.
it might
right
be
What's
now.
like
Dollar
just
Beard
Unless they're gonna
Club?
hook
But
me up.
it's like the $1 a month, and then you like do whatever, right?
Yeah, it's a oh no. It's supposed to be that's their minimum package, but
Yeah.
I think I pay like $5 a month, and they give you like a pack, a razor, and a new pack of things every single month.
Gotcha.
Consistent, so you always have like a brand new razor to use.
Oh, so what's the Beard Club thing?
It's
It's like
oil.
oils and waxes and whatever beard people.
What are those
You're
other?
talking to two facial hair people
No, but
here.
you know how the girls there's like that thing where you get new products every week to
Yeah.
try. It's like that, but for the man version.
Oh, well, that's fun.
He's the face of it.
Yeah, he's the new spokesman apparently.
What? Oh, there it is. That's
oil.
Oh, there we go. Marissa put
just
it up on the screen.
oil. It's just oil.
So
for
that commercial,
beards?
scroll back up. So that commercial, if we have it on if the viewers are watching it, that commercial, that guy, it's a very like Old Spice man commercial, like
Yeah.
chicks and humor and a motorcycle rode by and like shirtless. So I think Scott is perfect for
Sure.
Are you
that-
serious?
Yeah.
Yes, for that kind of personality. It's really like
Does
sarcastic.
he have a body like that? Though?
No.
No, but I mean,
Missed that.
I mean, like the sarcastic personality. Like the guy comes in and he's really sarcastic and abrasive and like it plays it kind of straight and cold. I think Scott's.
I didn't know there was such a
Is that
market.
that guy's
Yeah.
real beard?
I don't know.
I find beards to be irrelevant.
Well, you and I do because we can't grow them.
I guess so.
No, I mean, I
I
don't get,
like beards. That one's a little bit much.
look, man, I don't get the obsession, but Scott's
No.
got a good gig. Chris didn't negotiate it. He's doing his own thing, and this is serious. He's going to make money in some legitimate way that does not involve
partying.
nightclubs, unless they
Car
send him
dealership.
to a
Does he like
gosh
own a
darn
car
nightclub.
dealership of some sort? We found out on one episode.
I think
So
he was
shady.
like, he
Like
was
I
like,
think there was
shop
something like shady
salesman.
going on
Yeah.
there.
he was like chopping up cars and
Yeah.
selling cars. No, but like he's doing something that ostensibly so far is not involved with a nightclub.
Do you wonder though, like, okay, a deal like this, how long is his light gonna be lit when he's away from the Kardashians? If he's not on the show, we don't have any more drama between them. I feel like he will really kind of fade away.
If it were
Yeah.
French Montana, a personality like that, or Lamar, if Lamar had been like healthy, not this situation,
Yeah.
but Lamar was laid back, quiet, soft spoken, like yeah, you would fade away pretty quick.
Chris Humphries.
Chris Humphries, very different,
Chris
relatively
Humphries
soft
was
spoken.
never really like in the
True.
spotlight.
Oh, he wasn't.
He did
But-
one
but
season in New
Scott,
York
like,
with us, I
like
think.
the Lord Disick brand, like the humor. He's really like, he's got a different personality. I think he can do okay. I guess it depends. Does he go and date somebody famous? Does he go and
Then I think it would be it's like, what you trying to do?
well,
How you gonna stand on your own 2 feet?
welcome to LA, my friend.
Yeah, I know. Okay, moving on from
Does
him.
he?
I bet they'll get back together.
I was just gonna say that. Does he go
No,
back to court?
no, I don't think they will get back. I think he will be, like she said, like watching the kids. They'll be civil. I do not think we will see them
but
back
like in a few
the.
years.
I don't
from now.
think. I do. Although I can't see her with anyone else. So unless she's gonna
got a
die
weakness
old
for
with
him.
cats, I don't know.
She might like that from what she was
Honestly.
saying today.
Yeah.
She might give her 10 years. No, she needs to be alone. I mean,
Yeah,
she
she
knows
does.
what she's doing. She needs
I'm
to
not
be
saying
alone
I think
for-
they should get back together. I just like wouldn't be surprised if they do.
I can
Yeah.
see it. There's a reason he had been around for 9 years in the first place.
Yeah.
He had put her through some shit that we saw, let alone the stuff that we didn't see.
I know.
Like he put her through some shit. So the fact that we saw that and he was around for 9 years, you can't just cut it off. You
Yeah.
can't just say, "Oh, see you later."
You're right.
Fortunately, through even despite everything, he is seemingly a good father.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's a huge.
All you could ask. Well,
Yeah.
not all you could ask for more, but yeah, that is a good starting.
And I think
in
he
one.
has a good heart. I mean, I say that and he cheated on her, so that's not
We don't
true.
also know if he does.
And we don't, but it's like you never got the feeling, at least we never got any feeling from watching a lot of this and reading every damn article there was, that he was ever malicious or anything outside of the fact that all of his issues stem from alcohol abuse, addiction, things that he needs to get under control, but things that are very difficult to control for people. So it's like, if this weren't a variable for him, if he were able to get this under control, he'd be a totally different person. You see the best side of him, and he's awesome.
Yeah.
I wonder what Chris is referring to when she says, you can make it right. It's like, really, at what point? Like, he's already done what he's done. What is he going to apologize, move back in, and be all hunky-dory? Like, what do you make him right at this point?
I think making
Unless
it right
he
is the
already
kids.
did. Oh.
I think it's the kids.
Like, step
and she's
up.
saying you need to stick around. Like,
Yeah.
you
Don't
Step up,
disappear.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
Can't
And
just
it was-
run away from it.
Corey made like a dumb saying,
this
a
does
dumb
not
phrase
become a
for it.
character on the show.
About you have men in that house. They need to be raised by lions. Like that was a kind of a weird thing to say. But
feel
it's
like-
that same idea. Like you don't like Mason and Penelope and Rain need both of those parents if they can have them and if they can both be around.
Yeah.
And Scott needs to prove that.
On the Corey subject,
Yeah.
I feel as though he's very new to this whole, like, oh, I'm at a fake wine tasting with cameras, like, now let me be put on a little and, like, try and kill a bee and it's funny and then, like, say a weird quote about a lion or whatever he's saying. It's like, it's just not, I don't think, it's not working yet. Like, I don't think.
Here's a positive to Corey.
What?
He doesn't appear to have a filter. Here's the negative to Corey. He doesn't appear to have a filter.
I think he seems I think he seems like he's trying. I think Corey's a very
Like, trying
dull.
too hard?
I think Chris is into like a dull backseat dude that's just gonna sit along. So for him to like have this strong personality and all these jokes I think that's all BS.
Really?
Homie takes the back seat. We all know Chris is number one. She runs shit. You
Yeah.
think he's gonna be like up front, no filter, being like, Chris, you're fake. Like, no, he's not.
He didn't have to say that to have
Well,
no filter.
he has
but I
no
mean,
filter.
But he was coming out having fun. Like he's been on the show a couple times now recently, like freewheeling, talking, saying whatever he wants.
So
Having
you're
fun.
a fan? We'll see. I'm not a
I
fan. You're
wouldn't
a
say-
fan. We'll see how it plays
I
out.
wouldn't say I'm a fan, but I say like so far from I see from him, he's not going to be like the next Scott in terms of humor. But like
Right.
that's the
No,
angle.
damn
that's
right.
the angle they're going to take with him. Watch it
Yeah.
happen.
I don't know. I
do
need
you
to see
feel?
more.
Okay.
I need more men on this show.
Well, I think they also know that. I think
Yeah.
producers know that. I
Yeah.
think they
Right.
know that. And I think in their lives, they know that. So, yeah, I guess Corey can. It's hard for a guy to step into that. I mean, we've seen it time after
It's just
time.
like this is our first real thing with him, and he's like trying to kill bees. I was like, wait, what?
Like,
are we
so
watching right
aggressive.
now?
Yeah.
I thought he was going to like break a glass.
First
and
of all,
knock
like,
it
we have a
into-
bee crisis, bro, so slow down.
Yeah.
That's the first thing. And, yeah.
But even in the promos, like when he's going to buy her or buys her a Range Rover or whatever, I was like, okay, Chris can buy herself.
He's like, I almost
Cars.
got you, my baby.
He's
It's
like,
like,
I got
what?
you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was a little
baby.
weird.
A car that you can buy 80 million of?
Consider me a rookie. How does Corey make money?
He's Justin Bieber's like tour manager.
Oh, I didn't
Is
know
that the title? Is that what he does?
He's Scooter Braun's tour manager.
Okay, because I knew it was in
road
the
manager or
in
whatever.
the entourage or whatever. Okay.
He's like he works for Scooter Braun, who's like Justin Bieber's
Justin's
manager.
dude, yeah.
So like
Ariana
it's like
Grande's
on the-
manager, too,
Yeah.
right?
So it's not just Justin Bieber's, but like mainly it's Justin Bieber.
Ariana Grande.
Yeah, he's salty.
No, I'm just being
He
true.
really
Just-
doesn't like Ariana
I
Grande.
know.
she's just
I
a little
know.
like, whew.
She's crazy talented, and none of us have met her personally. Moving on.
We could debate on the talented part.
Could we, though? I feel like
Yeah, we could.
I don't think.
good singer.
She's
Listen,
pretty talented.
No, we could put
Pretty
Demi and
talented.
Selena way above her.
No.
Way
if we're
above
talking
her.
strictly talent,
What?
yes.
No, my lord.
I will literally take you. I will go over an hour and tell you.
I
No. And
know-
I'm not even.
Can we
I'm not a
not?
fan of Ariana Grande,
No,
but she is
I-
fucking talented.
listen,
What's
I
up?
know-
What's next on
I
your
know-
little roll here?
I know that
What's
you.
next?
I know that you're not a fan of either one of those, but Demi covered Adele.
Can you read what the
absolutely.
producer's telling
It was
us?
phenomenal.
Back to the
And
Kardashians.
Selena's "Good for You" is a banger.
Okay.
It's a banger.
Okay.
Final word on that. Let's talk about Khloe.
What about it?
What
Complex.
about her?
We already did.
already
She looks
talked
good
about it.
now.
She
She
looks
looks
great.
great. I have no sympathy for the whole plot line. I mean, we've seen like, oh, I'm uncomfortable to do this. You did a shot for Lamar or shoot for Lamar where you were literally like ass naked on a swing. She's like, this is my first one.
That was for Lamar.
You were
though.
oiled
Not
up
for
on
the
a
whole world
motherfucking
to
swing,
see.
and this is gonna bother you in a bathing suit.
But this is for it says has
Sterling,
a
don't
wider,
even.
I think I gotta defer to Sterling on this, and not just because you're wrong about Selena and Demi, but because Sterling, it's this is what Khloe was talking about, the body dysmorphia, and she was probably half kidding, but like, it's different, man.
Yeah, but
It's
she
It's
was
different.
complaining
She has
about people
insecurities.
on.
This is going to
she
be
was-
a cover for everyone to see.
I understand that part, but she was complaining about the actual on-set stuff. She was like, "Oh, there's so many people here, this and
Well-
that." That's the same.
No, it's
What
not the
now?
same.
Come at
when
me.
You're prancing around
Come at
without
me.
any clothes
Ariana
on.
Grande for life.
we got Nick so angry.
I'm getting sweaty.
You were so red right now.
Well, I'm also in a beanie and it's like 80 in this room.
Well, when you have insecurities and you're prancing around without any clothes on, knowing that these
Yeah.
pictures are going to be
We've
out
all been
there.
there.
I don't blame. Right, exactly.
Yeah,
when I
we've
strip
all been
down,
there.
it's
when
like
I strip down in public.
Yeah.
It just, people are watching.
we see Kourtney strips down too at the end. We see
But
her.
she, like,
shoe
really
cut. She
strips
is.
down.
Yeah. to the point she had to be like, no vagina shot. You know,
But
I
Kourtney's
played
never
about half
had
an
like
hour.
body issues before. Even like 2 days after she gives birth, she looks perfect
True.
again. It's not fair.
But yeah.
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 I think we've just about knocked it out. Anything else you guys want to talk about before predictions is kind
I
of
do have
screwed
something
up,
to say, and this is I'm gonna reach out to the fans here. I haven't spoken too highly of Kanye on this show for a while. And recently I found myself trying to cop some Yeezys again for this new they were released.
how's
on
that
sale.
going?
You guys,
no.
I failed the second time.
Oh,
It
no.
is so hard to get these things, and I just want to know if anyone out there wants to help out and tell us how I can find these shoes. Please do. That's
Did
it.
you-
Man,
did
talk
you
about
see-
swallowing your
Did
pride.
you
tried
see
so hard.
Nick Jonas was even like really desperate
That was
to get
so
him,
funny.
get them. He like Instagrammed a picture with Kim and was like, when Bae like won't hook you up with the Yeezys or whatever.
Yeah, he was like, because it was a throwback photo,
Yeah.
and he's like, they must have got lost in the mail, and I'm like, same, bro, me too.
Yeah,
My
you
God,
and Nick
lots of
Jonas.
them.
Actually, well,
We sit here for an hour every week and talk about these people. At least they could do is hook us
The
up with the
least they
Yeezy
could do is
moon
give us
rock
some
size
Yeezy.
9 to 9.5.
we don't always talk positively about these
Well, I
people.
think
though.
that's why I'm apologizing to.
This is his public apology,
To
and he will
Kanye.
accept some Yeezys in return.
saw Kanye on the upcoming scenes for the season.
We did.
Yeah, we saw him a couple times. I saw him very briefly in like the montages. We definitely saw Kanye.
Well, it's when he has his fashion show.
Yeah.
And Kylie's in it, so it's kind of like.
His fashion stuff is actually like his show we saw, and then I saw pictures from it, and now I walked into like Topshop, and almost everything looks as if it could have been
It's
from his
basically
line.
just like this
I
shirt
bought
with a
this
bunch
at
of holes
Topshop.
in it.
Yeah, it has whole. It's all
It's, like,
this
all
color, like the
ripped off,
green,
yeah.
the this, and like the light. Basically everything Kim wears on Instagram.
ask
That shirt?
Tim Gunn what he thinks about Kanye's fashion.
What
line.
does he think?
What does he
Didn't you
think?
hear Tim Gunn?
No.
Tim Gunn was horrible to Kanye's fashion line.
Well,
that
it kind
day.
of looks like just a bunch of rags.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
does. It
But
does.
what Kim was wearing in that one scene with when she was talking in the kitchen or whatever, when
Yeah,
Khloe
the
was
three of
trying
them.
to, it's like just like a bunch of holes just ripped apart.
That's what's
shredded,
cool
took
now.
some scissors to it.
That's what the kids are doing. That's what I've been reading. Okay, no, we're gonna wrap
On
this
that
sucker
note,
up.
let's do the prediction sound. I guess we can
the prediction sound.
predict.
Do we have things to predict?
That's always the
I
challenge.
predict drama and edge of our
That's
seat
predict
content.
drama. I'm excited to see Tyga on the show with Kylie.
I am. I'm excited to see that.
Ugh.
I think that's cool to see. I feel like through Snapchat, when I see Kylie on Snapchat, she seems to have more of a personality when she's around him.
She's
So I
just
do
doing
think
this-
this could. That's her usual, but then enter Tyga and it's like boo-doo-doo word, doo-doo-doo word.
Yeah,
So
well
she
then
talks
she's
a
like
little
got
more.
her feet on his face and stuff.
More of
didn't
a
see that
personality
one.
is a relative term.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. Just making sure.
relative to being true.
Well, no, but relative to being that Kylie's personality is really like yes.
No, but I'm telling you, she
monotone.
has like she like jokes around and like says it like she has a big an actual personality.
Yeah, I'm excited to see their dynamic for sure.
Okay, so let's predict something that people actually care about. Kendall and Kourtney and Khloe. Well, Khloe, I guess James Harden is kind of. Kendall and Kourtney. Who do they date next?
Well,
Very
Khloe
different
definitely
lives.
dates James Harden.
No, Kendall and Kourtney.
Oh, Kendall and Kourtney. I thought you said
Has Kendall ever been in a public relationship that we know of? Oh, Justin
No.
Bieber. People rumored her with Justin Bieber.
That was
for a
never,
while.
like,
I don't think it was
confirmed.
actually true.
I want more than a rumor, though.
They're
Yeah.
just friends.
I don't know that we have anything.
I think she's just focused on her career right now.
She kind of said, I mean, there was like someone was like, oh, do you want to have kids? And she was like, yeah, but like not right now.
Yeah.
So I think her head is in her career.
I think she would date someone who's not famous,
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I would agree with
Yeah.
that.
like Nick or something.
Hey, I'm just saying. She doesn't follow me. I do follow her. I
Well,
like all of her photos. She hasn't tossed me a like yet. I'm sure she's playing hard to get. I'm not.
Like the real problem here
Sounds
is
like that's what's happening.
she's at least 4 inches taller than you.
Yeah. Okay.
Dang, Bobby.
I don't
really
see what's
kicking
the
them while
issue.
he's
What's
down.
the issue with that though?
I'm just pointing that out.
I'm like 5'9.5" on a great day, 5'8" on
If
every
he had
other
those
day.
Yeezys though, he'd definitely
That's
be
what I'm
5'10".
saying. The
Oh my
Yeezy
God.
boots, maybe.
I think the beanies are making the two of you a little.
Great.
On that note,
Do you want to go out with Ariana Grande
Oh,
song?
I
or-
don't think
No.
Kourtney's gonna
Okay.
date anyone for a very long time.
No, it'll be a year or two at least.
The other two like popped into relationships relatively fast after things would happen. I do think she'll be the one to really hold out for a while.
I think Kourtney would also date a non-famous person. Those are the two likeliest to date
Yeah.
non-famous people, Kourtney and Kendall.
Yeah.
Like an interior decorator.
Yeah, or like famous in a different way, like a real estate person or a well-known business person, but not an entertainment person. Yeah. I guess we'll see. Technically, she wasn't dating a famous person when Scott and her got together. Of course,
That's
the
true.
family wasn't famous either.
That's
So.
true.
Good point.
All right, guys.
No Jonathan on the previews too.
Oh,
How
thank
great!
goodness.
God.
No.
We do not have enough time in the world.
I rewatched that episode today where they went to Montana and they were fighting over which
The
one
near
got the
car
couch.
crash?
Yeah.
Well, which one, Malika or him, gets the couch or the penthouse
And
hotel room?
he
I
was
was
friends
like,
with
really?
Kim that episode.
Yeah.
Really?
That's what I thought.
All right, Twitter, Instagram, Nick, go.
At Nicholas Grava and Snapchat. Don't forget that. Bob's don't even.
Stir?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Sterling Cates.
I would just like to point out I was giving out my Snapchat like 2 seasons ago before anybody went public, and then Kylie had a Snapchat. It became a big deal. I am on the forefront.
You created Snapchat.
And I don't use Snapchat anymore at all. I have it. You can follow me. I'm on Twitter and Snapchat at Bobby DeMuro. I will only check Twitter, though. That's it this week. We'll be back next Sunday with Keeping Up with the Kardashians after show here on AfterBuzz. Frankie's going to be here, I do believe, next Sunday. Holiday season's right around the corner, so that'll be an interesting scheduling thing, but at least next week we're here. So thanks a lot, guys. Comment on YouTube, hit subscribe, hit like, do all the great stuff on YouTube and iTunes, and we will talk to you on YouTube or Twitter or wherever else this week. See ya.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Bye. See you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.